Hello, everyone. Welcome to Meet the Pros. This is a live video interview show where we talk to our Ecamm Live users about how they use the tool, tips and tricks, and just about live video in general. I'm Glenn Aspesley with Ecamm Network. Really excited to be here talking to Nicole Loyola. I knew I was going to mess that up. Nicole Loyola. Nicole is a business strategist and coach who helps women entrepreneurs scale their business and create consistent income growth. She's contributed to some publications you may have heard of, including Forbes, Huffington Post, and also Mind, Body, Green. And I will, without any further hesitation, bring Nicole on. Thanks for joining us, Nicole.
Thanks so much for having me today.
So I just gave that incredibly read off of a screen intro about you. Why don't you tell everyone watching a little bit more about your business and who you are?
Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. I actually work primarily with women entrepreneurs in scaling their business and sort of stepping out of that employee mode into actually being the boss and helping them create consistent income growth and build their business bigger. So a lot of times they're sort of stuck in one-to-one services and getting a little burnt out and trading dollars for hours. And I like to help them optimize their time and just bring in new profits, close off those money leaks. And I started off actually with a private counseling practice. And once I started developing that, I realized I liked the business side more, and had like a strength for it. So when people started asking me for help, that's kind of when I transitioned into business coaching.
Oh, interesting. So you kind of became a business coach, would you say, gradually as your business developed? I mean, what led you to be a coach per se?
Yeah, well, I actually liked the part of, and I would say strategist slash coach. I like to give direct action plans and steps, not just kind of like coach people through it, but really be specific in what steps they need to be taking to create that bigger business. And I think what happened was, as I started building my business and having success with it, people started coming to me for help because a lot of women in service-based businesses, we weren't trained to be business owners. So we do need to sort of sometimes get support and learn new skills so that we can create that bigger business and have more of the impact that we wanted when we started our businesses.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it seems like more people are looking these days for strategists, coach, mentors, and a lot of that seems to be tying into social media. And how do you see your strategist role as it relates to social media and live video?
Yeah, well, what I see is social media and live video is a way to build a community. And I think it's really important in terms of one of the core foundational pieces of my strategy and for my clients is having visibility. And obviously, video is a great way to fast track visibility. It's a great way for people to know, like, and trust you quicker rather than kind of just writing posts that are words. I think it's really a way for people to get a feel for your personality, get a feel for your energy. And, using video through social media allows you to then build that community either through just the interaction on social media or bringing them back to your mailing list, which I think everyone that's how you should be using video and social media to bring people back to your list and have a more permanent way to reach out to them and bring them into your products and services so you can help them further.
And more specifically, when you talk about growing a community, are you using a Facebook closed group for that, or is that how do you tend to sort of structure that community online?
I mean, I think the community is your email list, one, and I think you have different aspects of your community, and your people may be in multiple places in your community too, which is nice because they can choose the way that feels like the best fit for them, whether it's just following you on social media and video, whether it's being a part of a Facebook community with you, if you have a Facebook group. And I do have a closed Facebook group. And I feel like it's a really good way to reach people. Sometimes, I don't want to talk about everything on the broader public Facebook, on my Facebook page. So I feel like it's a great way to give the people who really show up in my Facebook group more information, more behind the scenes information, kind of some higher level strategy and tips as a reward for being loyal.
Yeah, that's it. We actually have a lot of fun with our Facebook beta group when we're testing our software. We've managed to grow that community, but when it's closed, though, there's that downside. I feel like someone will post something really, really interesting. And we'll go, oh, well, too bad it's in the closed group.
Right. Like you can't share it or anything like that. Yeah. I mean, that is tough, but I think, the people who are showing up in your group are absolutely the people who are going to be more loyal, who consider themselves part of your community.
Mm-hmm. And when you use live video for this, do you find yourself, what platforms do you find yourself going live to most often?
Facebook. My audience is definitely on Facebook primarily. Sometimes though, what I like is you can download the video, or like with Ecamm, it automatically downloads it to your computer. So it's easy to then share it to YouTube as well and, get more mileage out of it.
Yeah. Have you experimented at all with going live directly to YouTube at all, or just?
Yeah, maybe I should. I know you can make it so easy.
Right now, I'm using Restream for this. This is something we've experimented with the last few episodes of the show, where Restream is punched up to send it to our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
And it's quite interesting. I mean, people are tuning in on YouTube more than we expected. I'm not exactly sure what channels they're coming through to find it, but it is kind of a neat way to broaden the reach, I guess you could say.
I'll have to try that out.
Yeah, it's and what's so tell us a little more about when you do go live. What kind of format do you use, and what are you what's your goal when you're going live out to your page?
Well, there's a couple ways I go live. One way I go live is I've been doing pretty consistently for most of the year a weekly workshop. So I plan a topic in advance and I have an audience. I just share the opt-in page for the weekly workshop series all the time. Okay. So I have, a bunch of people, a few hundred people who are signed up for my regular weekly workshops. So I'm able to go live to the Facebook page for the workshop. Those people get reminders about it. And then I'm able to teach them a topic. I love being able to share the screen. I think that's a huge, huge benefit. And then, so I could do slides and stuff like that just to make it a little bit more interactive. And then from there, I'm able to repurpose it, right? Like take that download, put it on YouTube, then embed it on a blog. So it's permanent content. It's out there for good. And it's not like people have to go searching for the live. I have an easy access to resources where if somebody's like, hey, Nicole, I'm struggling to build my network, I can send them to the training I did on building your network. Okay. If someone's like, hey, I'm struggling with time management, I can send them to that training I did on time management. And it just makes it a lot easier to get your information out there to people and to have it as ongoing resources.
So as you do these live episodes, it's building sort of an archive of content on Facebook and YouTube that you can link back to.
Yes, and even then, once again, it's blog content as well on my own blog, which I like.
What do you typically do to repurpose it for the blog? Are you creating a transcript, or are you just posting it up as
just a summary right now? But I would like to move to the transcript in the future because there's so many easy ways to get transcripts. So I think it's absolutely a good idea to add that aspect in as well. But for now, it's just kind of shorter, hey, this is what you're going to learn with some of the learning objectives in it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you, when you're live, do you tend to get a lot of interaction through the comments, or have you done anything with the sort of question answer aspect of that?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think that there are definite ones. Like I just did one a couple weeks ago on planning for your Q4, and I really pushed that as like a standalone almost. So like I had like an updated landing page for it. I really wanted people to sign up for that one and attend live because I did it very workshop style. Mm-hmm. I pulled up the actual assessment. I gave them a link to copy the assessment right then and there so they could also be completing it at the same time, which I think is one of the cool cool opportunities with Facebook Live. You know, it doesn't have to just be you having a random conversation by yourself. You know, you can have that interaction with people commenting. So there was a ton of engagement and people on live for that one. And it's gotten lots and lots. It's continued. What's good is when you do get the comments and you do get the engagement, Facebook likes it, so they keep sharing it. So I think it's had close to 1,000 views now.
Oh, nice.
It's still on there. I can still direct people to it. But then there might be topics that are just like a little quieter and people can go back and watch it later, which is good as well.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to think about, you know, even if you don't have a lot of live viewers, you know, that video lives on as a replay, you know, and that sort of the potential is infinite as far as as watching the replay goes.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know, actually one of my favorite ways to use live video is I do sort of pop-up Facebook group live events. So in the summer, I do something called Summer Camp for Entrepreneurs. And it's like a 4-week event where I bring in other business owners and we talk all about visibility and how to get more visibility and how to build your community through visibility. And, you know, we cover different aspects and I do mini trainings. So I think I did a mini training on Facebook Lives actually. And talked about tools like Ecamm that you can use to go live in an easier way. And it's a closed group where I do the trainings, but if I wanted to, I could still take those trainings and make them available to people off. You know, I could take the download and make it available on a regular page if I wanted to, or create a blog from it. And a lot of times I give those trainings, access to those trainings to my clients. So that way they can still benefit. It's like a special bonus for clients after. And those videos are only up for a limited time because I really want watching and engaging with them throughout that live event.
Okay, so talk a little bit more about that. You have so there's certain videos you don't keep online.
Yeah, I mean, well, I keep all the videos myself. I download them and keep them myself for records and benefits for my own clients. But in terms of the group, you know, when I archive the group at the end of the event, because this is a separate group from my normal closed group, it's a pop-up group, so everybody's ridiculously engaged because they signed up just for this event. And they know involved. I get to know them very quickly because I'm in video on there pretty much almost every day, whether it's an interview with another expert, whether it's my own mini training, or whether it's just popping in to check in on them, say hi, see if they have any questions.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that idea about the sort of the pop-up live because I mean, we think so much about scheduling it and, but I mean, there's also, you know, you are scrolling through your list and you see, oh, you know, so-and-so's live, and you might not get a notification for it, but it definitely, you see it kind of during your scroll, and that'll definitely stop your scroll if you see someone is, you know, live and active and right then and there.
Absolutely. So. And people are really tuned into that group for the 4 weeks. So they're catching as many videos as they can. And I do leave the videos up the entire 4 weeks, but then I do pull them down towards the end because I do want them to kind of, you know, make sure they're watching the ones that are most important to them. Otherwise the content's not good if it just stays up forever and they're like, oh, I'll check it out later, and they never do.
So people love, our viewers love hearing tips and tricks about when you are going live. You know, what are some of the suggestions that you might have for people that want to do live video to their groups or to their pages? Do you have anything you'd like to share about about that might be useful for other live video or even Ecamm Live users specifically that you'd like to share with us?
I mean, I think one of the things people forgot about is like, what if nobody's on it? And I think that, you know, what you can do is what I like with, you know, Ecamm Live, you could schedule it in advance so people know that you're going to be there, you're going to show up at that certain time, and it gives them time to kind of prep for it and try to show up for it. But the reality is like something like 95% of people watch the replay anyways. So I really recommend also speaking to the people on the replay. encouraging them to say replay if they're watching the replay, encouraging them that to leave questions or comments, and just saying, and if you're on the replay, answer this too, right? Or drop me your questions, I'll come back and check on them. So letting people know they're supported, even though you're not live, and also allowing you to get past the worry, like people are not on here and it must mean something bad, you know what I mean? And then they freak out and they delete it right away. And it's like wasted. So just leave it up and let people catch it after.
Just kind of keep plowing on, even if you've got a big fat zero in the
Exactly. Because, you know, and a lot of times, even though you see the zero, you see one, you see another, and there are people on there scrolling past it, checking it out, making a note to come back later when they have time. So you have to give them that opportunity to have that. And also, you know, in the beginning, don't be waiting for a million people to join. Just kind of dive into the topic. Because the people who are watching the replay, which is the majority of people, aren't going to want to hear you waiting for all these live like people to jump on. They're going to want you to just dive into the content.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to also to forget that, you know, I guess even people leaving comments during the replay, like you're still going to see them. You know, you're going to get, you know, those are still going to show up in your notifications. So making clear, I guess, you know, if you're watching the replay, you know, you can still post your questions. I'm still going to answer you, even though I'm not live.
Exactly. And if people are just saying replay, don't forget to say, hey, thanks for checking this out, right? Like, don't ignore that they showed up for it and they watched it, because one, you know, it makes them feel good. They're going to feel like they're still a part of your active community, even if they miss your content live. And then two, once again, Facebook sees that you're active on there, that there's comments on there. That it's triggering that algorithm. So they're going to share it more, even if it's like a day later or a couple days later.
Interesting. What about sharing the live broadcast in either on other parts of Facebook or on other platforms? Do you ever do that kind of thing? Like, how do you get the word out about your scheduled broadcasts? Do you rely heavily on the email list, or is it?
I do rely on the email list, especially for those weekly workshops where people, you know, signed up and said, hey, I want to be a part of these workshops. I want to know when they're happening. And then the other pieces I can share them into my private Facebook group, which is nice if I do it on my Facebook page. So that sort of gets it out in front of more people. And then again, you know, if it's a really good video, if it's something that you're creating that really answers a question that you get asked a lot of the times, treat it like a permanent resource and put it on your blog.
Right. Now, what about your setup? We talked a little bit about your studio before the show, and we have a video that you made for us, right? That we can roll. Why don't you give us a little intro for this video, and then I'll roll it into the broadcast here.
Yeah, it was fun to film that. It made me straighten out my areas, so that was now my apartment's organized.
Now you can have a party.
Exactly. I have a tiny apartment, so I think it'll be fun for people to see this, because, you know, I think people freak out about space and everything, and the reality is you don't need much space, you know, and I'm in the actual setup of what people will be seeing on there right now, and I mean, I think it looks pretty decent.
Okay, great. Let's roll the tape.
Hey everyone, so I am super excited to show you what my home studio looks like, especially because it really is a tiny space, which just shows you can set up a studio anywhere. You don't need anything fancy or special. I live in about a 660 square foot apartment right outside of New York City in Jersey City. You could see a tiny corner of the Manhattan skyline over there. The good news is I have tons of natural light, but sometimes I still need to pull down the shade and use my light ring for better light. What I also like is I recently rearranged my apartment, so I have two really clean studio spaces. Sometimes if I'm doing something where I'm sharing slides, I end up just sitting right there at the desk, especially since my face is just going to be in a corner, like when I'm using Ecamm to go live and do one of my workshops. You know, I'm not taking up the whole screen, so It's really good. I can just share my slides. I don't have to worry about perfect lighting or anything like that. And it's easier for me to be comfortable at the desk. Now, if I'm doing something where I'm on the screen, then this is really where I set up the studio. You can see I use a trusty Nike sneaker box as my camera stand. But what I really love is that sneaker box stores all my supplies. It stores my extra plugs. It stores my little HD camera. It stores a bunch of things like that. So when I do need something, it also stores like a smaller ring light. When I do need something, I can find it easily. I'm not searching everywhere. And it allows me to sit easily on the couch, have a nice like gray background with some teal pillows, which are my brand colors. This table is easily movable and the angle of the light is just perfect. So this is probably actually where I'm sitting right now for this interview with Ecamm. And if I'm filming videos where I take up most of the screen, then I'm definitely sitting here, or where I need that kind of perfect ring lighting. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. Nicole at NicoleLiloia.com. I'm happy to answer, and I'm happy for you guys to see it's easy to set up a mobile studio and pack it away too.
That looks great. Okay, we're back with Nicole. Thanks for filming that video. That was very insightful as far as you're I assume you're on that sofa right now. I can't see the teal pillows, but
yeah.
And the Nike sneaker box, and you'd never guess you had such a nice compact setup there.
Yeah, I like that it's like small and organized, and then I could like pull it together quickly and pack it up quickly when I'm done.
I just put a question on the screen in our comments. So Gunnar wants to know about your, I guess this is a reference to your sneaker box. Why no tripod in use here?
Yeah, actually originally I only got the HD camera probably like in the past year. So originally I was just using the Mac camera on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I just got used to that setup. And also I like to be able to, I don't know, it just seems like another thing to have to set up. I think that I could even put it on like the ring light, but why?
Oh, yeah.
Extra cool.
And talk a little bit more about the ring light. I mean, are you bringing it right down like in front of you? Like, is it kind of behind your laptop? Would you say?
It's actually pretty much exactly where you saw it in the video.
Okay.
So it's behind my laptop, but a little, it faces down over me. And I mean, I have like a lot of natural sunlight, but then I'd have to be facing the window, and like today it's cloudy actually, so there's no guarantee ever that you'll have good lighting. So truthfully, I think if you're early on, the most important thing is just do videos, use a desk light. I used to use a desk light. You could get a smaller, just even like one of those tiny ring lights for your phone, or for like to clip on the top of your computer. Don't feel like you have to make that big investment. But if you really enjoy doing video, and if you are doing it more consistently, then definitely like treat yourself to an upgrade.
Nice. I like. It looked like it was on a floor stand, which
that
kind of keeps it.
Yeah, a big tripod stand, right? Like it's basically like a massive tripod that comes with it.
Very cool. Very cool. Maybe we can get a link to that ring light and stand down in the comments after the.
I'll back into the comments and put it in there
after the broadcast. And anything else you want to throw in there about that setup? I noticed you had a mic kind of alongside the computer. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you find kind of is? I mean, you sound great right now. I don't hear any sort of background noise, but I'm wondering, do you think that mic so close to your Mac might be picking up some fan noise or anything like that? Or
I never thought of that.
See, now this is turning into a critique of your studio.
I haven't heard that from anyone yet. I do use the mic because a lot of times when you're doing podcast interviews and stuff like that, people do request that you have a decent mic. So that's why I do make sure to have it for stuff like this. Mm-hmm. I don't always use the mic, honestly, for my own stuff. Like if I'm just popping on or something, I really don't even use it actually. But for stuff like this, when I'm doing it for other people, I want to have the best sound that I can. The other thing is I do live in the city, so there are odds that something is going to come up and I can't control it. That happened recently on a podcast. There was like a truck beeping and she's like, I think your alarm's going off. I think you forgot to shut off an alarm. And I'm like, no, it's just city noise.
Oh yeah, there's not much you can do about that, I guess.
It's life, yeah.
I'm a few doors down from a fire station, so you can imagine there's always a fire when we're live. It's really just not much you can do about it.
There's nothing. Yeah, we have a fire station not too far away too, and that
Funny.
definitely can show up.
Funny. Well, we actually have a comment coming in here from Annie. She wants to know about whether you have a recommendation for a separate mic. Is there, what do you have there?
I use the Yeti. I think it's like one that's not crazy expensive. I think, especially like with Black Friday coming up, keep your eye out on Amazon. They usually have a pretty good sale on it if you are interested in one.
So this is the company, I think, is called Blue, right? Just like the color blue.
Yeah.
And then it's the Blue Yeti mic.
Right.
Yeah, we have a few of those here too, and they are nice.
Mm-hmm.
And they plug right in the USB, and then they also have a monitor plug on the bottom in case you want to hear what it sounds like.
And it has like the stand already set up to it. So again, it's not like another purchase that you have to worry about.
Yeah, they're pretty plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
I would also recommend the Yeti, and Audio Technica. I know is another company that makes nice USB mics as well.
Yeah,
but
it's a good one.
I would encourage anyone going live to use an external mic, just because you do get a big boost in the sound quality.
Yeah.
From the one that's kind of just behind your speaker grill on the laptop, especially. All right, so this has been really fun. I'm so glad we could have you on here. I know we didn't really talk much about your business, and I would love, before we go, just like to learn a little bit more about how you're helping women entrepreneurs to maximize their business. Do you want to give us a little bit more? I mean, people watching are probably going to be interested in what you're doing here, and I also want to make sure I give you an opportunity to help get the word out about your business as well.
Yeah, I think one of the ways that I work with women primarily in a couple different ways. One-to-one services, so they get that private mentorship and constant personalized strategy and coaching. And then the other thing that I do that I really love is mastermind. So I'll bring a group of women entrepreneurs together for a few months, and we'll all work together to help them reach their goals. And I love it. I see my clients increase their income, because I think it's so important that we have women that are making healthy incomes in their business, able to afford, whatever they want, able to invest in their futures, save for retirement, whatever it is. I think money is just a tool to help you have the lifestyle that you want and make a bigger impact in the world. And many of my clients, I get to see them 2x their income, 3x their income. I have actually a group of women that I call the 10X Club, where they've actually 10X their income during the time that we've worked together, and really gone from not feeling like a boss to really acting like the CEO, taking back their time. Like a lot of times they're working less, not more, because they just learn to focus on what is going to be most powerful for them.
I would say any X to your income is probably great.
Right?
At that point.
And video is a big piece of that for me, and how I connect with my audience. It truly does give me, I'm not much of a writer. I'm a better talker. I am from New Jersey. So that's why I'm so grateful to video becoming what it's become, because it just allows me to connect with people, like the people who are watching this today, a lot better. And they feel more comfortable reaching out to me for help and knowing that I can take care of their needs.
Nice. Well, thank you very much, Nicole, for joining us today for Meet the Pros. This has been really fun, and I learned a lot here, and inspiring to see how you're using live video to reach your customers and your what's the word I'm looking for? Your your community, your
Right.
your strategy community. Hey, this and everyone watching at home and everyone watching the replay, thank you
Exactly.
for joining us. And if you're watching the replay and you have a question for Ecamm or for Nicole, just put it down in the comments, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, and we'll be watching that, and we'll get back to you. All
Yes,
right,
we will.
thanks again, Nicole, and everyone at home. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Bye.